You asked for it, I'm making it. A comparison of Mara to MicroStrategy. Now that Mara is buying Bitcoin in addition to mining it, people are speculating that it could be something similar to a MicroStrategy style play. Let's dive into a little bit of the particulars there and the differences in these two companies and see if Mara is getting a similar or better premium for their Bitcoin than MicroStrategy is. Let's take a look at that now. But first, before we get going, smash that like button, subscribe if you've been with us a while and haven't done so yet, or if you just like the content so far, and check out the Trade Cave store on Etsy. The products are available now. You can see down here we got some t-shirts and a sticker here for sale on the Trade Cave store. Go ahead and check that out, link in the description. Also, this will be the last regular format video for the next 2 weeks. I will be traveling to Japan starting tomorrow, and I will be on an iPad making less frequent videos. Let's get into it. All right, so several publicly traded companies do have Bitcoin treasuries. And as you can see, the two top ones there are MicroStrategy and Marathon Digital. Okay, now Marathon actually has a little bit more than this, so does MicroStrategy. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to use these numbers here to get a little idea, I guess, of how much their Bitcoin plays into their market cap and see if they get like who's getting the better premium. And you can see here they conveniently have the values of that too. So let's bring up a calculator. Yep, we're doing the calculator work. Wah, wah. All right, so current value for MicroStrategy's Bitcoin is about $14.99 billion. Just for the sake of math, we can do 14.99. So for MicroStrategy, we established that we got $14.99 billion worth of Bitcoin on the balance sheet right now. Now, of course, I believe it is a little bit more than that, but that's just what's reported on the webpage, so I can get an idea of how it compares to the market cap. So they have $31 billion on the market cap, 31.09. So we got divided by 31.09. So their Bitcoin is worth 48% of their market cap. We know that MicroStrategy is getting a premium on their Bitcoin on a factor of basically 2 to 1, right? So because they have twice as much market cap as they have Bitcoin in terms of they've got, Bitcoin makes up 48% of their market cap. If we do it the other way, you'll see what I'm talking about. Is it 14.99? Yeah, 2. So by a factor of 2. Now, let's go take a look at Marathon. So Marathon is currently sitting on $1.3 billion worth of Bitcoin, or 20,000 Bitcoin. Now, we do know it's slightly higher than that, but we're just going to go with what's public, what's listed here on this website for now for the Bitcoin treasuries by Bitbo. Just for now, just to keep things a little clean and easy for everybody. Well, clean and easy for me. So 1.3 billion. So we got 1.3 billion. Let's bring up a new calculator. We got 1.3 billion. Okay, so actually I'm going to do, 1.3 billion. Okay, 1.325. Because we're going to round up a little bit. No, 246. All right, 1.3246. Ooh, that's a lot of numbers. Okay, so let's go back into Marathon here. 1.326, and the current market cap is 6.1 billion as of today. 6.1 billion as of today. Which I'm recording this on July 30th in the evening. I'll release it in the morning. Doesn't matter. Anyways, what was I saying? 6 billion? We got 6.1. So divided by 6.1, and that is actually only making up 21.7% of their market cap. Or if we do it the other way, you can see that they're getting a premium of 4.6 to 1 for the Bitcoin. That's significantly higher than MicroStrategy, actually. So if we look here, so MicroStrategy is getting basically a 2 for 1, and while Mara is getting closer to a 5 for 1. Honestly, well, it's 4.6 to 1 for their Bitcoin. So if Mara is going to be, let's say they're not selling any of their Bitcoin, and we know that they've been mining something about 500 Bitcoin a month here for a while. But here we go. Okay, Bitcoin produced 590. So we can expect them to be making 590 Bitcoin or more going forward every single month. So they'd be holding on to that as well. So we'd be looking at something at the current price of Bitcoin. Let me just, if we do that with the current price of Bitcoin, we got 590 times by 66,000 is the current approximate price of Bitcoin right now. Okay, Now, we're just going to factor it in at this price, okay? We're not going to be like trying to, oh, this is what Bitcoin will be worth in 3 months, and it's going to factor in by this much. No, we're not doing that. We're just doing based on what the price is right now to give us a rough idea of what the value of this thing can be. We know it's going to be higher. Just bear with me, because I know you know it's going to be higher, and I also know it's going to be higher. But we're going to go ahead and look at this now. So every month, they're producing $38.9 million worth of Bitcoin. That's pretty cool. All right. So I'm okay. So they're bringing in about that much Bitcoin per month, and they're not going to sell any of it. So that would be increasing their market cap by a factor of 38, almost $39 million every single month. All right. Okay. Which we take by a factor of 5, a factor of 4.6. I'm going to get another calculator. I'm going to fill my screen with calculators. That's my goal this video. 4.6 times by 38, 940, 123. Boop. We're looking at increasing their market cap by $179 million every single month just from the Bitcoin they produce, assuming they don't sell any. And they've been talking about how they don't want to sell any. And in fact, they're even buying some. Now, if they were to do that, that's going to increase their market cap by, let's get one more calculator. Yeah, I'm going to fill this screen up with calculators. Let's take this thing, let's take a look at this thing. 6.1. So that's about like a 0.179. So divided by 6.1, we're looking like at increasing their market cap by a factor of 2.93% every month just based on Bitcoin that they are producing every month. And this is going to increase, and the value of the price of the Bitcoin is also going to increase. So that's pretty sweet. So I mean, even on this base case, if Mara were to do this for the rest of the Bitcoin cycle, which is going to be about what, 16 months, about another 16 months, that would be an increase from current prices of 46.95% in the worst case scenario. Current price is what, $20? So an increase of 46%, 46.95% on $20. We're looking at there is no scenario where Mara is not worth at least $30 by the end of this thing. And I know that's not really impressive to anyone here, but I mean, that's a $10 increase basically guaranteed from current prices. So, I mean, if you buy here or on the way down to wherever it's going from here, I mean, can you really be mad? You made money. We know it's going to be bigger, though. We know it's going to be bigger. Now, it's going to be bigger by a bit of a factor here. Now, let's go over here back tomorrow. Let's go back to here. Okay, they are going to buy, they bought, let me see here, they bought on July 25th, $100 million worth of Bitcoin. All right, so they bought $100 million worth of Bitcoin, or for them, about 2.5 months worth of production here. So 2.5 months, that comes out to being what? A quarter, about a quarter. So if they were to make this purchase every quarter throughout the end of the cycle, now I think they might actually do it more than that. Let's get a new calculator. A new calculator. So we're doing a quarter. That's about $400 million of Bitcoin every for the year. Now, we know that Bitcoin's going to be a higher price than it currently is right now, and if they buy it, in the future, they're going to get less Bitcoin for that price. But just humor me here. Since we already did that calculation that seriously sandbagged them. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt here in this part of the calculation, where we simply say like Bitcoin's going to be a constant price for the next 6 months. And I know don't get all mad in the comments. We all know that's not going to be the case, but this is just like creating a base case of like what could happen here based on numbers that we currently have available to us right now. Okay, that's all we're doing. So 400 million divided by 66,000 will get them in by the end of the year about another 6,000 Bitcoin. Now, this is where we're going to get interesting with that, right? Okay, 6,000 Bitcoin times by, let's say we get to our base case of $150,000 by the end of the year. Okay, that's another $909 million worth of Bitcoin right there, just off of if they were to make this $100 million purchase every quarter here. Okay, and if we times that by the factor of 4.6, which is what we know they generally get off of the value of the Bitcoin, that went away, didn't it? 909 million, I said, times by 4.6. We're looking at about a $4 billion increase to their market cap, which is currently 6.1 billion. We're looking at a minimum of a $10 billion market cap, which we know So is it 4.18? So we got 4.18 divided by 6.1. That'd be an increase of 68%. Now, if we add that 68% to our $30 or $29, we're looking at, if they do this purchase 4 more times, a minimum price of Mara of $48.72. Where if we divide that by current price, we're looking at a factor of 243% going through this cycle of Bitcoin, assuming they do this purchase 4 more times, they get it for $66,000. Price goes up to $250,000 of Bitcoin, which is the base case, and they continue to produce about 590 Bitcoin every month throughout the cycle. There you go. So that's what's going on with that. Now, let's do something interesting here. So let's go to Google for this one. So we're going to compare this thing to Mara. Okay, we're going to compare it to Mara, and we're going to compare it to Bitcoin. Okay. Well, actually, let's just compare it to Mara. Okay, so year to date, MicroStrategy is up. Up 134%, while Mara is down 13.96%. That sucks. What about in the last 5 years? Okay, last 5 years, we got about, so this is since the previous halving, right? Since the last halving. I wish I could do this a custom date, but that's okay. Since the last halving, which 2019, before the last halving, since I guess the last winter, Mara actually has gone up 839%, while MicroStrategy has gone up 1,094%. But during this time, Mara wasn't always buying Bitcoin. Mara was unprofitable for a while. We went through the winter, all that nonsense, right? So now they're buying Bitcoin. Now they're in a stronger position. They're looking at potentially being like huge Bitcoin miner here, getting some major hash out of this company. That's this 800% in the next cycle might be closer to this 1,000 or more. Do we think Mara could potentially outplay MicroStrategy at its own game of buying Bitcoin? I don't know. Let's take a look to Bitcoin. Bitcoin. All right, now we add Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin in the last 5 years is up only 511%. Half of what MicroStrategy is up. A little more than half, like 65% of how much Mara has gone up in that same amount of time if you could hold through all of these fluctuations. It's amazing. At one point, MicroStrategy was up. Oh, no, sorry. Mara, excuse me. At one point, Mara in 2021, during the bull run, MicroStrategy was up only 500%. Bitcoin was only up 495%. And Mara was up 3,515%. Shaming all of them. That's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing to look at. Now let's go year to date compared to these things. Bitcoin up 49% for year to date. MicroStrategy up 134%, while Mara is down 14%. Seeing that previous performance, seeing that in 2021, Mara beat out MicroStrategy and Bitcoin by almost a factor of 30, that's pretty exciting. I mean, I didn't even know that. That just came to me right now. And there was a point even before that in March when Bitcoin did its first peak where Marathon Digital was up 2,226%, while MicroStrategy and Bitcoin were only up 400%. This might be a better play than MicroStrategy. Wow, I didn't even think that was I did not think that was going to be the outcome here. I thought maybe it would be MicroStrategy. That's pretty cool. So if you can hold through the crazy fluctuations of Mara, and like if you see this thing like rocking away, like put it on a comparison compared to MicroStrategy and Bitcoin on a chart, and if you see like it getting way separated from the others, yeah, it might be time to release some of your Mara and take that profit. That is pretty exciting. Now let's take a look next to one of my other favorites, CleanSpark. This one's just I'm just sneaking it in there. CleanSpark. What does CleanSpark look like in this scenario? Let's go ahead and take out. Now let's just look at them. So CleanSpark, when Mara was up 3,000%, CleanSpark was up 140%. Okay. They were still a pretty new miner at that time, so they were up significantly less than MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, so that's interesting. I'm thinking it might be a little bit different this time, because if we come back to this year, right, there were times where, oh, never mind, man. They're up 95%. Well, these things are up. Yeah, CleanSpark just has not kept up yet. That's interesting. I didn't think that was going to be the case. I'm pretty interested in what's going on here. I mean, CleanSpark I think it's I think it's due to dilution, to be honest. So yeah, there you go. There you have it. CleanSpark not holding up as well as Mara in this whole move. Maybe I should rethink some of my positions here and maybe get on part of the Mara train. That's what I'm thinking here. Of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Purely my thoughts, and these are really fresh thoughts. I did not look at this ahead of time. I was not prepared for that. I was thinking CleanSpark would have some kind of performance going in through here that, not too different from Marathon, but maybe they were having a much smaller Bitcoin production at that time compared to what they are now. So I do want to look at that data. And in fact, I think I'm going to do a future video where I compare Mara and CleanSpark during this exact time here on November 2021 to see what the production of CleanSpark was looking like and why it was so much less of a performer at that time. Now let's take a look at Riot. Let's see how Riot did. Ooh, Riot's kind of the opposite. Look at here. So at the beginning in February, March, Riot was up 3,000%, and then when Mara was up 3,000%, Riot was only up 2,000%. And since then, we've seen the weakest performer over 5 years was Riot with that 369% increase. Let's take a look at year to date. Yeah, year to date, Riot is down 32%, while Mara is down 13, almost 14%, and Bitcoin's up 50%. MicroStrategy is up 134%. Now, just for the fun of it, let's throw NVIDIA in there. NVIDIA holding its own with MicroStrategy year to date. That's pretty interesting. Let's do 5 years. If you just held like a traditional tech stock, right? Let's do 5 years. Huh. All right. NVIDIA takes it. NVIDIA just shames everyone except for that one time Marathon Digital was up 3,000%, while the rest of them were only up a few 100%. But NVIDIA, oh wow, look at that. NVIDIA up 2,473% over the last 5 years. So if you just bought this thing back in 2019 and just held, you'd be up 2,473% over that period of time. And it's not like Mara where it had like peaks and troughs. Like, I mean, it has its peaks and troughs, but it didn't go up 3,000%, then drop 80%, and then go up another few 100%. Like NVIDIA is just kind of an even keel all the way up until AI popped off and it just took off. So that's an interesting little tidbit there. So MicroStrategy actually looks like during the bull run, at the last throes of the bull run, Marathon Digital might have the ability to completely outperform MicroStrategy and Bitcoin, even without this Bitcoin buying spree that they've been on lately and may continue to be on. And I think that we need to look at some of the larger public Bitcoin miners for their potential breakout of this level as well this cycle, because there are some that are nipping at the heels of Mara this cycle. I'm talking about names like CleanSpark. I'm talking about names like Core Scientific. I'm talking about names like Iron. That could be that potential for that 3,000% move here going into the bull run of the 2025 bull run that we're looking at, or at the end of 2024 even, perhaps, because you look back here, this started at the end of 2020, where December 30th, like they were up a few 100%, and then at that spring it really took off. So that's what we're looking for here going forward, and that's why we're in this play altogether. I still like MicroStrategy. I was not prepared to see some of that comparison that just came out. That was pretty cool. And I would love to cover more of this going into the future. Some of this just like unfiltered sort of reactions to things that I have not actually looked up ahead of time. So there we go. That's what we've got. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store on Etsy, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.